In this video, we're going to talk about case and word order in Russian and English, as well as accusative case endings. Это Виктор, и это Анна. Виктор любит Анну. Анна любит Виктора. Анну любит Виктор. Виктора любит Анна. Это Наталья, и это Александр. Наталья любит Александра. Александра любит Наталья. Александр любит Наталью. Наталью любит Александр. Это мама, и это дочка. Кто кого любит? Decide if the heart is moving in the right direction according to the sentence that you hear. Мама любит дочку. Дочку любит мама. Маму любит дочка. Дочка любит маму. If you got those right, great. If you're still confused a little, don't worry. It might help if you think of the verb in this sentence as if it were an arrow. And the person who shoots the arrow, in this case we have Anna, who's about to shoot the arrow, she is the subject of the sentence. The arrow then, the verb arrow, goes and hits someone. In this case, it hits Victor, who is then the receiver of the action. We call it the direct object. And when that happens, when Victor receives the action and he's the direct object, in Russian that means we change the ending. So the person doing the action, in this case it's Anna, is the subject of the sentence. And then the verb goes and affects someone. In this case, Victor, and that's the direct object, the receiver. The subject, Anna, is in the nominative case, and then the verb comes and affects the direct object, which goes into the accusative case. And that's what's happening when we see Victor become Viktora. In Russian, this means we can change the word order around. We can have the subject of the sentence, Anna in this case, not be at the front of the sentence, and we can have the object, Victor in this case, be in the front of the sentence, even though he's the direct object. And so then what happens when the verb comes and gets Victor, we still know that he's the one receiving the action because of the a on the end of his name, even though he's the first thing in the sentence. Whereas we know that Anna is the person who shot the arrow because her name stayed the same and didn't change. Many verbs take the accusative case after them, but not all. Some may take another case, and some may need a preposition. So when you learn a new verb, you'll need to learn whether it takes accusative, like любить does, or does something different. Take an example like this one. If we were to say this sentence in English, Anna listens to the radio. After listen, we have to have a preposition, whereas in Russian, слушает takes a direct object, just like любить does. So what's our subject, what's our verb, and what's our object in this sentence? We have Anna, the subject, who's doing the listening. Of course, the arrow here represents the verb, to listen, and the radio is what is being listened to. Anna слушает радио. Now start to notice the endings in the words. Anna читает книгу. Анна читает журнал. Анна читает журналы. Анна пишет письмо. Анна пишет SMS-ку. So can we fill our chart in here? What happens with masculine in the accusative case? For example, Anna читает журнал. It stayed the same. How about Anna читает книгу? Feminine. A became U. Anna читает письмо. O stayed the same. Anna читает журналы. We stayed the same. But what about Anna любит Виктора? Wasn't that masculine? Why did журнал stay the same, but Виктор changed to Виктора? Here's what we see. With things in masculine, it stays the same. The same as the nominative case. With people, masculine, a, ya. Feminine, u, you. Neuter stays the same as nominative. And for plural things, the same as nominative. This part right here, the masculine people, is kind of a preview. And we're going to be working mostly with the rest of the chart. Masculine things, feminines, neuters, and plurals. But keep this in mind for later. It will come back. A few examples. Он любит борщ. It's a thing, so it stayed the same. Он любит Ивана. Who does he love? He loves Ivan. But because of любить, Ivan has changed to Ivana. Он любит Тамару. Он любит Мишу. Mish is a male name, but it ends in a, so it will take the same endings as feminine. Он любит это платье stays the same. Он любит эти журналы stays the same. Давайте посмотрим дальше. Она любит русский язык. Она также любит русскую литературу. И, конечно, она любит русское пиво. We also notice with adjectives that with things, it will stay the same. Neuters will stay the same. Plural things will stay the same. But feminines will change from a, ya to u, you. Some examples. Она читает интересный журнал. Она читает интересную статью. Она читает интересное письмо. Она читает интересные книги. You'll hear some sentences with words missing at the end. Pick the right form, the nominative, книга, or the accusative, книгу. Remember that the word order doesn't mean that the last one has to be the direct object. Ты читаешь эту книгу? Какие книги любит? Какие книги любит Pasha? Pasha is the subject. We're asking about what books he likes. Я не знаю, где это. Я не знаю, где эта студентка. Where is she? She's the subject. Кто написал эту? Кто написал эту песню? Who wrote that song? So the song is receiving the action. Accusative case. Где живет твой? Где живет твой брат? I'm asking, where does your brother live? He's the subject of the sentence. Okay, let's try a little bit of an extra challenging one. Ты знаешь моего брата? Do you know my brother? You are the subject. Know is what's hitting my brother. So he'll have to be into the accusative case. Now try completing the sentence with the right endings. Саша любит Риту. Брат любит сестру. Мы знаем Петербург. Петербурg is a masculine thing, so it stays the same. Мы знаем Михаила. I'll give you a little bit of an extra challenge here. Masculine person. Студент часто убирает komnatu. We will be working on the concepts and the endings from this lesson a lot more. Two main takeaways. One is, what is a direct object? A direct object is the thing that has been affected by the verb. If the verb is the arrow, the direct object is the thing that the arrow hit. And then what happens to it? For the most part, the words stay the same. However, when we have an a, it will go to u. A ya will go to you.